Okay, so now these are our door frames. We'll talk about the inner door frame and the modifications to that we do before we chop them. This one here hasn't been chopped yet, cleaned up or detailed or anything. So everything's still stock. There's parts of it that we have to remove to get our to do our angle change on the A-pillar of the door. One is this piece here, which is the guide for the felt for the window channel. We're going to cut a piece of it out and get it out of the way, because when you angle these, when you do the angle on the posts, you're not changing the angle at the window opening. You're changing the angle down here. So because you don't come up here and then kink the door over, or you get that weird looking dog leg. So the angle starts right here at this body line, okay? So that means this thing, whenever it gets angled back, it's going to get angled from right here, okay? So that means the door frame is the same thing. We have to come in at this particular area, which on the door is right here. So the angling starts here at that detail line from the body here and comes back. So all this stuff here needs to get out of the way because it's going to be moved also. The back on this we don't have to mess with because it all stays the same. We'll have to cut a little bit of this out of the way to do our chop, but yet we'll still put this little piece back in. Okay, now this inner door structure here, we've already chopped it to go with the skin that Eddie's already chopped. And these are the pieces that we cut out of the door. This is what I was talking about. This is this piece here. We just came up with a line. Where's the easiest way to cut it? Here and here. And you can see by this gap right here, see how much that angle changed? Because that, you know, if it was stock, it would be like this. So we've come back 3/8 of an inch at the top. So that'll fit like that. And we'll tweak this around where this comes around. We'll cut a little bit out of this where all this lines up. This is where the felt hooks in. The felt comes up the top. So this is that piece. Then this is the other piece of the door here that we had to take apart. It went here, and since our chop is right here, right now it's just tacked together. This will go back in like that and get spot welded here, welded here, spot welded here. So now we've got all the 100% structure of the door integrity back. This door here, we removed the middle hinge, filled the pocket, extended the lip flange for the door skin. So this one's pretty good here. So basically all we lack on this door is reinstalling these pieces. Now in order to get the angle, what we did was we cut right through where that part is I showed you on the cowl. Right here in this body detail, went right through there, and then cut it loose right here on the inside. Drew a straight line through here, cut it right here. Went straight through, cut it loose right here where it would slide on the skin. On the inner panel, there's a little spot weld right here, factory. You cut that loose, a little weld. That's basically all we had to do to it. Also, you'll notice that whenever we cut the door, instead of just cutting it straight across, made a little Z cut. That way, it's easy to put. You can put a straight edge here, clamp everything, keep everything in line, instead of just trying to deal with two dead end pieces hanging off in the air together. So like that. And then there's a little cut, little relief cut right here, and one here, but not all the way through. This allows that to bend to open up just a little bit. Doesn't take much. This door also, this bottom seal plate was rusted out on the bottom of the door. So Eddie made a new piece, got it all put in, fits the car. So all the repairs are made to the door. These doors are also going to get our X braces installed, and then once those are installed, the door itself will get the door powder coated, the inner structure powder coated before we put the skins on it. That way it'll be sealed and should never have any more rust issues in the future. Of course, who leaves their car sitting outside under a tree in the rain anymore? Now we talked about how we get the wooden form helps you determine where your cuts and stuff could be. Marked on the board here, coming out of that transition right there, and then we marked on one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of scribe this. Something like that. Something like that. We know we're going to go right through the center of this, pretty much. Except we're not going to go all the way through. Okay, and stop somewhere right in here. And then here we're just going to cut all the way through. That's it. See, and you can see by the way that we've done that cut by leaving that right there that we can roll that under or on top of or whatever, and we stay in alignment. Okay, we have our chop here. So take this piece, line it up in the back, push it forward. That's going to be our cut line for there, and our cut line for there, and that's our chop. We made our cut here in the front. This is how much we need to trim that to get that to overlap perfect. So that'll get cut. Then we had to reposition this piece in the back, which is basically one cut. We'll clamp all this back together. These two pieces will go together like that. Well, the doors, you know, back, each side of these cars are different, sometimes up to 5/8 of an inch on these 32s and 34 Fords, because they had different parts being stamped from different places, different people putting them together, all kinds of different variables. And this is just one of them. That's why we have this wooden fixture. Help us get everything back to where it needs to be. We're going to cut it just a little bit long, just in case we got some to trim back. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we got our door tacked together, fits our wooden fit buck, and next step was we'll hammer and dolly our tacks around, get everything nice and tight, and do a final weld, and we'll be ready to do the bottom door skin. Okay, now everything's tacked together, the door top's tacked together, inner door frame's tacked together. Before we do any final welding, always put it back together to be sure that we don't have any issues. So you can see with the skin on the frame, everything fits perfectly. Cleco's lined up from before we ever took the door apart. It's exactly where everything was before we cut anything on the door. The inside lines up. We get this other piece inside the structure in here. Just lines up, tack welding here. Tack weld it back together here just like factory. So basically it's like this car's never been chopped that it came this way. And because we can still open and close our door like we talked about in the very beginning, you can see everything lines up pretty good. Of course, we're going to redo our flanges on the outside, get everything to line up so we'll have a perfect door gap. We'll have the door all flanged and put together before we chop the top. The doors will be 100% done before we chop the top. Flanged, done.